Another week, another episode of perfection with Star Trek Picard. It's just like high note after high note after high note. And as we're getting towards the end of the season, they have to wrap everything up now. It's we got 3 episodes left. We're starting to get some storylines that are coming together. There's still a couple of things that have yet to be fully unfolded, but we did get more information about the who is behind everything to this episode, or at least we got confirmation of something which I had been questioning in the previous episodes. Also got some, well, I don't want to spoil things because, as you know, those of you who watch my episodes, I spoil the whole thing. I talk about the whole thing. We're doing the entire episode in its entirety. So if you haven't watched the episode yet, this is the point where I remind you, you'll want to walk away now because full spoiler alert ahead. I'm not going to be holding back. And if you don't want things spoiled for yourself, you need to just go away, come back later. You can watch it then. In the meantime, though, give you a countdown for those of you who might not have clicked away yet so that you got a full opportunity to not have things spoiled for yourself. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, show notes time, everybody. Let me pull this over here. We start off in the Chintaka scrapyard, and we've got Seven on the bridge with Tuvok on the other line, and she's asking about Riker, asking about his last contact with Janeway, asking for Tuvok's help. And then in the background, we've got Geordi and Shaw running scans on his voice, which come up inconclusive. So she mentions something about these games they used to play, fishing for information that a changeling wouldn't know. And then maybe it sounds legit. They go to set up a meeting, and she says, "What about this planet, Acklin 7, where I underwent this special procedure?" And he's like, "Oh, of course, yeah, let's do it." And she's like, "Only that wasn't where the procedure happened." And bam, we have our first changeling of the day. And this is a brilliant part where the changeling like flips over because Picard's like, "Where's Riker? Where's Riker?" And it shows Riker's face all like veined out and just nasty looking, and he's like, "You're all as good as dead." And they cut the connection so that they can't be traced. And apparently, this is the umpteenth time that they've tried to contact. Find someone, anyone that hasn't been compromised, but they just can't. And this is when Geordi says, maybe it's time to accept that we're really all alone on this. And it's a stark reminder of sometimes shows have to put the characters in such a deep crisis that the only way out seems impossible. It kind of felt a tiny bit, just a tiny bit forced, but I'm kind of used to it at this point over the years with all the Trek stuff that happens because every single time we get a Trek episode, a Trek series, a Trek film, they're always up against insurmountable odds. That's part of like the charm of the show. So even though it's a little over the top, we accept it, we roll with it because that's what makes good, entertaining television. Meanwhile, Beverly's got this idea that she wants to look into developing something biological to root out the changelings or maybe even harm them. She's got this moral dilemma that it's going to be tantamount to genocide doing so, and she doesn't want to cross the lines that were crossed during the Dominion War. We're also back with Lore, Data, and Soon, and kind of interrogating him. They flip him on. They want to talk to him. And I got to say that this is just another example of what an amazing actor he is because the switch from Data to Lore and back and forth is just so brilliant as this scene as they're talking to him. And all the, it's just, it's good. It's really, really good. And it's good to see actors firing on all cylinders in such a way because it makes the shows so much more entertaining. Picard really wants to know, where are you taking my body? And the lore slash data thing is talking about, well, there's something unidentified inside that corpse. The previous diagnosis with the syndrome might be in question, which leads me to go, really, what else could be inside of him if not the syndrome that killed him, which Jack has as well, right? Now, here's the reveal that I was teasing at the beginning when I told everybody to walk away. He didn't want things spoiled. So we're back on the Shrike, and we're having this conversation between Vadic and her boss. And I had questioned in a previous episode because the face that the boss showed was weird. And I was like, who are they? Who are these people? Because I don't know. Are they changelings that just have another form? Are they another evolved version of the changelings? What are they? And we didn't get a full reveal yet here. But this thing is like really yelling at Vadic, you know, you're running out of time. Your physiology, it says, is not as complex as you believe. You are malleable. And as he's threatening her, she like becomes, uncontrollable and starts switching between her physical form and the gel form. He's like, "You are malleable. Do what is necessary. The hour of Starfleet's fall nears. We must have the boy, or you and your kind will find your existence meaningless." So her boss is something different, something that can control, I guess, maybe, can control the changelings. From a distance, it appears. I don't know what's going on here, but it is a teaser reveal towards the end game of trying, finally revealing who the ultimate enemy is here. We don't know yet, but we did get a glimpse into that, uh, whatever it is. I need more information. We all need more information. Meanwhile, Jack is in the transport and he's hitting on Sydney, and he's like hearing her thoughts suddenly. And she's like, "Is he flirting with me? Why is he flirting with me?" Blah, 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 blah. And his eyes go red as he hears the voice that's like, "Find me." And the hallway converts, and it's all craziness going on. Meanwhile, there's a signal coming in, which they determine is the signal that a compromised captain would send out, and it's Riker from the Shrike. So now they know that he's alive and that Vadic has him, and maybe set a trap. Meanwhile, Jack gives a confession to Picard. He says, like, "I've been this whole time in my life, Riker's got a family, he's got kids and all these people and Sydney, and I'm not worth the pain and suffering that's being caused. Everybody, let Vadic come. We can get Riker back. Let me sacrifice myself, and he starts to tell Picard what's going on internally with him, but they don't quite ever finish that conversation because the next scene, we're cut off and we're leading to the Titan floating in dead space, Vadic arriving. They've lured her in. She comes on with a boarding party, and her people are like, "It could be a trap," and she's desperate. She's like, "Don't you hear that? Tick tock, tick tock, the ancient clock. We're out of time. We are going." And everything that was in my mind as she's having this meltdown was they're like, "Be cool, bitch, be cool." Because literally last night when I was on TikTok as I was going to bed, the scene from the end of Pulp Fiction popped up with her playing Honey Bunny, and you know, tell your bitch to be cool, be cool, be cool, be cool, bitch. I was just like, oh man. Anyway, we've got Jack facing Vadic in the hall. She tells him that she wants to take him to a better place, so we still don't know where that is or who the people are that she's trying to take him to. He's off running. Gotta catch me, honey bunny. This is all planned, of course. It's they're trying to get her in a trap, and they cut her off from her men. Jack and Sidney get cut off on their own, and they've put shields in place and everything else. But then, as Geordi is starting to try to transport everybody out, something happens with the transporter, and Geordi's getting pissed, and all of a sudden the doors to their room close, and it's Lore Baby. And I told you, I freaking told everybody that he was going to be an issue. I called this when they rescued him off Daystrom. I said, Lore is going to cause a crisis on the ship that's going to be an integral part of one of the upcoming episodes. I called it. It happened. Um, Beverly is with Picard. They're interrogating Vadic, where they've got her confined in this shield, this hermetic seal. Beverly wants to know, why do you want my son? I took an oath to do no harm, but I'm rethinking that oath right now. Picard walks in, and Vadic's like, oh, good cop, bad cop. Okay. And then she reveals this backstory, which is really, really interesting. So we got some major reveals here in this episode. She does mention here before we do the reveal. She talks about how Jack was never really for Beverly for the first place, and he's not for me either. He's for someone else, my boss. We don't know who that is yet. But this whole backstory about how she was created in by Starfleet, it's intense. Project Proteus is what it was called in Daystrom. Her and 9 others that were captured and tortured and tested because Starfleet was trying to create the perfect spies who could infiltrate any people, any species. Not Starfleet per se, but Section 31, which is, they do some creepy shit. Meanwhile, Lore is taking over completely the body. Jack is hearing Sydney's thoughts again. Vadic reveals the whole storyline of everything, and then the doctor whose form she took was the one who tortured them, whistling while she worked, turning them into these perfect spies, perfect weapons. And Vadic, it turns out, was able to pass it on. And then she threatens and Beverly, and she's like, "Are you prepared to lose another son?" And her and Picard are like, "We just need to kill this bitch right now." Meanwhile, Geordi's trying to get through to Data. Lore has full control. Vadic shapeshifts, escapes from the shield as it drops. They fire at her, but she gets away. The shield between Sydney and Jack drops for a minute, and then comes back between them. There's this fight with the Changelings, and suddenly Jack is inside of Sydney's mind, eyes glowing red, and he's able to control her body and help her fight so that she can kill the Changeling. Really interesting stuff here. Data's back in his body, helping Geordi bring everything back under control, but Sydney's freaking out because of what just happened with Jack, but then she ultimately accepts him and runs because here comes more Changelings. Beverly, on the other hand, starts digging into Project Proteus, finds some information that they can use to track the Changelings, finds out they're on the bridge. They've got 7. Shaw's down and injured. Vadic takes control of the ship, and then as she's giving her speech to the crew of the Titan, she specifically addresses Jack, and she's like, "It's time you learn who you truly are," and then it fades to black. So we got some answers, but more teases of what's coming in the pipeline. And obviously, if I had to guess, the next episode we maybe are going to get more information, hopefully, about who her boss is, because now that she's got control of the Titan, I'm assuming the next few episodes are going to be about them, going en route to Vadic's bosses while they have to try to retake the ship from the inside. Because is this the second or third ship crises of this season? Again, this is one of those things that Star Trek does way too often, the ship in crisis thing. But I get it; it's got to be done from time to time. We can roll our eyes a little bit at it because it's part of the ride, part of the fun. So that's where we're going to be going to the next episode. Whether or not we get the reveal of the actual bosses yet or not remains to be seen, but they're going to be heading that direction because she's got control of the ship now. And that's obviously where we're going next episode, is to try to take it back. So we'll see if the data lore thing continues to cause any issues. I'm also genuinely curious at this point if they're going to off any of the main characters. I would assume that they will have to off Picard to just fully, erase the possibility of bringing him back. But I don't know. I kind of feel like the data lore thing might end up, taking Data out of the equation. I could be wrong. They could be bringing Data back. I don't know. I have thoughts, theories. We'll see how it all pans out. In any case, if you like this episode, let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. And of course, stay tuned because I'm reviewing this show, The Mandalorian, all these other Star Wars and Star Trek shows, many other things here on the channel. Support if you can. Membership, super chat, super stickers, the Patreon page. Links to all those things are down below, including our Discord channel. So hopefully we'll see you there for greater conversations. And if you want to come hang out with us in game, and check out a live stream when I'm live. Until next time, everybody, stay safe, live long and prosper.